Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to this classic league game between Battleground of the God BattleBots and Dallas Asylum. Today I am joined by C-Force and
Hey, how you
Fuzzywuzy,
doing?
Hello, everybody.
and it just seems like I'll let these two talk you through the picks and ban phase, and then once we're in game, I'll be casting it mainly with, I think it's C-Force, we agreed?
Yeah, I think so.
And then Fuzzy will provide some post-game analysis, so I'll let you guys go into the picks and bans.
Sounds great. Let me get into the spectate here really quick.
Okay, I'm in. We got first ban Al Kwong Arthur, and then looks like an X Ball ban, and I believe we will probably see. I'm not really sure.
You said so. It was Al Posh Arthur and an X Ball.
Al Kwong.
Al Kwong. All right. You know, it depends. Because these we don't have a whole lot of analysis on these players, but we know that the meta will typically dictate around maybe like, something along like a mid pick. So I could look something at like the very high pressure.
Yeah, actually, we're
in the
pretty
mid
correct
lane.
there. They ended up picking Hera, so yeah, you were right on the money.
Yeah, I was like, is like typically with this meta, you really want something that's high pressure. So banning something out like that or picking it is definitely what's going to need to be right now.
I could definitely see either an Athena or a Soul getting picked up by GOT. They've played it 2 or 3 times. Their duo lane seems to really like that. Instead, going for the Neja.
It was like Athena is a good pickup, but definitely the Neja is going to be great just because of that jungle clear and the fact that you're able to take anybody out of a fight that's actually doing any sort of damage to your team. That Neja just being able to ult them away, and depending on if you're behind, you become an ult bot, and then you just kind of go off on that cooldown. But if you're ahead, you don't have to necessarily have the full cooldown, and just keep blasting them with all sorts of abilities, and just making sure that your damage is going off successfully. So I really think that a Neja pick is quite great.
And then Asylum's going to return with the Bologna Achilles. You were talking about pressure. I don't think you get much more pressure than the Bologna Achilles.
Yeah, you really don't see more pressure than a Bologna Achilles. Bologna's definitely going to go to the solo lane, but the Achilles just being in that jungle, having that jungle pressure and that mobility, I mean, that's tit to tat for clear against a Naja right there. So if really they could look at doing a Naja support right here, it wouldn't be a bad pickup because you're not going to really out clear an Achilles super early in the game. Now there could be an Achilles in the support role, but it's kind of a toss up right there for me. I really think that it'd be better for them to go into a Achilles jungle.
Even getting up the Merlin right now, that's scary. That god is just something else. And looking at an RTO pick as well, that's a really good two-man pick.
Absolutely, yeah. That's gonna be absolutely insane for them getting that pressure from that Merlin. You're definitely not gonna lose too many fights with a Merlin. Now with the recent buffs with the recent nerf that they had to his cooldown, though, it could be a little bit more of a balancing act. You really have to make sure that the Merlin gets to that level 3 before they really start punishing anything. So you look for an early gank in the middle lane to allow them to be able to get that Merlin slowly start snowballing and then start rotating around, where most Hera really doesn't thrive on the rotations. They thrive on the farm and getting to level 5, 6.
The RTO is still going to be really good for team control as well. If that Neja is going into a role outside of jungle, not going to have a whole lot of appeal, but having that RTO there to just control team fights is going to be real.
Oh, absolutely. An RDO right now is going to be great, and you could see that RDO in the solo lane. But I really doubt it against a Bologna. I mean, that cripple would definitely help. Definitely helps with the Achilles movement abilities and the Bologna movement abilities, even the Merlin movement abilities. That RDO pick right now is going to be really top notch for them.
Dallas going for the AMC pick. A bit interesting into this team, I would have to say, but we definitely could see some work out of it. He's got a lot of just a lot of pressure in lane. Seems like Dallas really likes to go pressure, and AMC can definitely do that. We could honestly see him going mid here, though he's probably going to stay in the.
I would say that he's going to stay in the duo lane, especially with the RDO pickup. That's going to, if the RDO, now that I'm looking at it, the RDO is actually going to go forward to the support. I think with the Najda in the jungle, that AMC RDO lane is just going to absolutely clear lane, get the pressure, and they're going to look for, even though that the jungle invades got nerfed, they're still going to look for those jungle invades because you don't have a buff. You don't have anything to get. So you're losing a lot more XP than you're actually gaining. So I really think that they're going to try to get some really hardcore pressure out there. So I expect Bot to go ahead and Bot's jungle just to go ahead and get pressure on the duo side, because if you get that AMC behind, AMC's out for the count, and that's game.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing an Anubis ban and a Cernanos ban. Cernanil's coming out from Dallas,
Definitely.
and Anubis coming out from BOT. Cernanil's I get. Very, very strong hunter right now. He has really good use of the hammer build. His ultimate is really good for the team fighting. The Anubis band's a bit different. I wasn't really expecting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. With an Anubis ban, you usually ban an Anubis for someone that's really kind of given that pressure. So I really think they're just trying to get that pressure out of the way, because once Anubis hits that late game level 20, you can't stop him. He just becomes the magic eraser. Just looking at him is instant death. So go ahead and just getting rid of that Anubis right now is probably going to be the best thing for everybody.
They're really taking their time thinking out these next phase bans. It's good though. You should definitely take your time. Banning is extremely important. They end up picking the Vamana ban. That's interesting. Trying to ban out the solo
Vamana,
a little bit.
absolutely. Vamana is just a monster right now. Even with the most recent nerfs, I really think that that Vamana is going to be one of the top, if not the top solo lane. And with all the pressure being in the solo lane right now, if you manage to lose the solo lane, you basically are losing great rotations, great pressure, and Vamana just really provides that right now.
You're also keeping that AMC a whole lot safer, because unless AMC's got some massive anti-heal in that Vamana, he's just going to hold W and left click. It's not going to be a very good day for him.
It's gonna be a very rough day for anybody for getting rid of that. So Vamana getting banned right there is gonna be fantastic.
And they got a Thoth ban coming out from BOTG here. That's actually pretty interesting. They're trying to they got rid of the pressure from Anubis, and now they're trying to get rid of that long range poke from Thoth. Just trying to get some balanced bans all around.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, with their current comp right now, especially coming from the blue team right now with good old bots, I really think that their pressure is going to be more highly sophisticated, especially with this Osiris pick. I'm definitely seeing that is going to be. I don't know where they're going to get their damage from, to be honest. With Osiris's healing mitigations, that only really counters RDO and Neja. You don't really get a whole lot of healing like a healing differential from Merlin. The Achilles execute is going to be great, but I really think that they're just trying to go for a tanky team right now. I'm looking for their for Waco right now to go ahead and pick up something, maybe something along the lines of someone that gives you a high pressure. I'm really thinking that a Poseidon here would actually be pretty good for them with that setup that they've got going on right now with the Achilles stun and the Bologna stun as well, and her ult, and then the Osiris mitigations and slows. It's going to be unstoppable for them to if they get a Poseidon.
And we're seeing a Hachima and a Bacchus getting picked up. That's certainly a very solid duo lane if they do choose to put that in duo, though Bacchus could also be flexed into solo. Not really sure. It looks like the Osiris might be solo with the. I honestly don't know. I'm not even going to attempt to guess. They ended up getting a Raw as last pick for Dallas. I kind of think that was interesting. I thought they would have gone for a more damage-focused mage like Agni or Raijin, since it's the sole magic focus of the team. But they chose going with the Raw.
Yeah, I think what they need is they wanted burst, and they wanted solid burst right out of the gate. And a raw snipe coming in out of nowhere from a stun from a Bologna, a stun from an Achilles, constant cooldown is really going to be effective for them. Honestly, if I had to choose right now between anybody, I say that my looking at it, the picks that I'm going to go with, winning in the pick and ban, definitely goes to BOTG right now. They are absolutely just going to be unstoppable when it comes to their pressure, and I really don't think that Dallas is going to have the damage to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, Dallas is definitely going to struggle, but in more elongated battles, I think Dallas might actually come out on top. They have Raw sustain, AMC sustain, Bologna sustain. They have a lot of healing. Achilles has a healing kit as well. So if BOTG forgets about that anti-heal, we could see some long team fights that Dallas comes out on.
Very true, but Bacchus does have anti-heal naturally in his kit with that belch, so you really kind of have to kind of weigh out your thing. I really think that if anybody's going to get an anti-heal item, it'll be from the Bacchus and it'll be from the Neja getting a Brawler's Beatstick for some damage.
Yeah, that's most likely what will happen. We'll see as soon as this game loads in. Overall, yeah, I think BOTG has a much more well-rounded comp. I'm gonna assume that maybe Artyom in the solo with Bacchus in the duo, and then Dallas, maybe Achilles support with Bologna, solo, Osiris, Junk.
It wouldn't. I could see. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Bologna. I'm gonna go with a Bologna support, an Achilles jungle, and an Osiris solo, because that Osiris is definitely going into the RDO solo, and with that anti-heal, And with the stuns and the slows, I really think Osiris is really going to be the only capable person of boxing an RDO in that solo lane.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Osiris is the best boxing potential against the RDL. So we'll just have to see. I think they've traded.
Yeah, they've kind of swapped around right now. It looks like that Dishwater right now is actually going to be running a mid Bologna. which is going to be really interesting. It's going to be a spicy one at that. Looks like that Pentecost is definitely going to be running the AMC. The Osiris, that's going to be an Osiris jungle, it looks like, as well.
And it looks like a raw solo.
It very well could be a raw solo, actually.
I believe Raiders has played Wukong and Loki in the past. That could be jungle. I'm trying to find the roster.
If you're going on the rosters, Pentecost is a sub, so the roster might be a bit different.
Okay. With that new information, we can safely assume that everything that we have just said, you can throw out the window. The only really team comp that we can kind of go off right now is we definitely know that the Neja is going into the jungle, with Gokaneda going into the Hachi Man with the Bacchus with Silent Aces. He's going to be taking the solo with the RDO, and Merlin is definitely going in the mid lane.
Yeah, much more conventional draft coming out from BOTG, but sometimes taking risks is what it takes to get them big dubs, so we'll see.
Absolutely. Well, I'll go ahead and send it over to my casters for the day, for the next game, and you guys, good luck.
Thank you.
Right, thanks. Okay, as we're dropping into game, this is a recapture as the when we were streaming this originally, we had a lot of technical issues and a lot of the footage went down, so I couldn't really organise the time with C-Force to get this done with him, so that is why he's missing from this cast, but he will return in game 2 for that cast. So
I can't get enough.
I believe that's correct on that side. Yep. Pentecost going ADC, Osiris in the solo lane, Achilles I think is the support, and Dishwater is that jungle role. As we see, Bologna just pathing through the jungle, has 2 wards in hand, so maybe just looking to put out an early ward around mid. Maybe checking for invades, but 2v1 on that side is not great if they were to invade, but I think she should be okay. And they put an early ward sort of in that high ground. Nothing really unusual. It is a bit surprising to see Dallas Asylum electing to go for a lot of boots at the moment, rather than that power item first, so they're going to have a lot more movement speed to clear out this map, but they might have a bit more trouble clearing different objectives. As we see Gokanate on the Hachiman just trying to poke out a few autos to even get a little bit of poke, a little bit of damage. And it looks like Battlegrounds of the Gods will manage to clear out this wave a lot earlier and be able to invade that purple buff. Solo lane, RTO's quite low. Not entirely sure what's happened here, but she should be okay, having a lot of health pots. Cyrus only electing to have 1 health pot on him, so that might backfire if RTO is able to put out a lot more damage, as Duo's now rotated from that purple buff, coming back to clear the wave. Bacchus putting a lot of pressure on that Achilles. Achilles down to about half HP at the moment. But I believe that should be it, but they will hit level 2 from this wave. Najjar with an invade on that red buff. Managing to pick it up. There is 3 people here. I don't know if any of them can sort of fall on Big Rick. Big Rick having to use that blink to just get out safely. And we'll pick up their red buff in return, as we do see Bacchus really pressuring out the Rammer at the moment. Both relics used on either side. AMC about 1 hit away. having health pots, so he should be able to heal back up. But I think Battlegrounds of the Gods here will try. Oh no, red buff just dropped, so I'll go back to the lane. So a lot of early pressure coming out of Battlegrounds of the Gods here. The Asylum do have the wards, so they know roughly what's happening around the mid lane. As Cyrus is very low in the solo lane here. Like I mentioned earlier, he's already used his health pot, so I imagine he's expecting early back to get sort of, I think it's Berserker Shield online I would expect here, because he's more auto attack based rather than the abilities. As Bacchus is trying to just zone out in a 2v1, Gokinator went back to pick up the purple buff. So I think Osiris will try and stay as long as he can in this lane. He's still a little bit of gold short to actually get that Berserker Shield, so with Big Rick rotating over, will they manage to find a kill? Down to about 100 health on that Osiris. Has got Bologna here if he needs the help, but they will lose that first, I think it might be the second totem of coup. As Bacchus does a big flop in onto the Achilles. AMC very low, and Hatchman will pick up first blood. Very, very aggressive duo lane. Knowing that the jungler for the enemy team for Dallas Asylum is in that solo lane, I don't know if they'll manage to pressure out this Achilles. Or will they just look to sort of take the minion wave and back? Hatchiman seems to be rushing, well, can either go into boots or try and rush that Devo's Gauntlet. AMC has elected to go for the Devo's Gauntlet rather than boots, but his hives do give him movement speed, so that's less of a risk for him, especially if he's already pushed under tower. And oracles will fall to the way of Battlegrounds of the Gods here. Bacchus just clearing out a hive. Achilles a bit out of position here. The Bacchus flop doesn't knock him up. The Belch is good, and Achilles will get picked up by Gokinator. So that is 2 for nothing to the Gokinator at the moment. And already 20 stacks ahead on that Hunter's Blessing as Bologna comes in. Gokinator forced to ult out. The Bacchus flop just knocking up Dishwater on that Bologna. Dishwater will go back into that jungle, just back, and well, they did get the Hatchman out, so that's good news for AMC, but it should be back up in a couple of waves time, assuming that Hatchman will back here for his first item, as he is currently in hand 2,000 gold. So he might stay a little bit. I don't think 2,000 is enough to fully get Devo's Gauntlets right off the bat. But his margins for safety with that ultimate is gone. But Bacchus does a big flop into the Achilles. Achilles managing to get the stun on the Bacchus. I believe that would just pressure out this duo lane even more. And now Hatchman 2 levels above his ADC counterpart. Meanwhile, on mid, just pretty standard. There's not really too much fight in there. Both characters just farming up here. There will be a purple invade. Or will they look to try and get this red? But Ra should be able to secure it by the time they get there. Yes, he does. But will he be able to actually pick it up? There is a 4-man rotation on him. I think he'll just have to give that up. And now they will take Silent Aces, beginning that purple buff invade. Need to be a bit careful coming back into lane with now Achilles and AMC both hitting the 5, so the ultimates will be available. Bologna is rotating, level 6. Maybe has enough for an ultimate and an ability at this stage, but Narjar does get Sashin. Does take Bologna up to the sky. The execute. No, Dishwater managing to pick up Big Rick. Bacchus might fall here as well. Yep. And now Hatchiman looking in a bit of trouble, but think he will just back off. And with Nevea rotating on that Merlin, I don't think they'll be able to do this Gold Fury. No. And Nevea will pick up the Oracles for the team, knowing that that's the next big objective on the map. So, nice little comeback from Dallas Asylum, managing to get 2 kills on their jungler. Both junglers elect to go into Talaria's boots for much faster rotation speed. And I'll be interested to see what comes out of that Bologna though. Is it going to be the Frostbound Hammer or that Runeforge Hammer for a bit of extra damage? As we see in the solo lane, Cyrus getting about half health. He's still got a health pot if he needs it, but I think he should be able to heal up off this main wave, but needs to be a bit careful with Big Rick rotating. This could be a blue buff invade. Using that ring toss. Not managing to steal that buff, but we'll get out as Ra is in trouble by his red buff. Bacchus Flop does come out. Using that ultimate. Can Nevea pick up the kill? Yes, she can. And Nevea picks up Raider. And now will it be Battleground of the Gods' turn to look towards Gold Fury, or do they just head back to farming at this stage? I think farming is the right call, but you never know how confident a team feels. As Big Rick gets a huge sash in, Key's managing to ult away. Can Big Rick get the ring toss just off the mark? But the auto is good. And actually we'll just try and come back and get some XP from this wave. Bologna going for a very deep invade here. Taking those back XP camps. Not sure if that's a worthwhile call going in now. Bacchus does belly flop in onto that purple buff. He is on his own. Hatchman is rotating slowly. Also the mid laner, but I think Bacchus should be able to get out safely. Merlin has gone back into the mid lane, so I think there might be a bit of a fight around this purple buff at the moment. As Reign Invictus is used on the Bacchus. Bacchus should be able to get out from there, but is Hatchman in a bit of trouble here? He's rotating over. Bacchus went back in and gets picked up by Dishwater. Meanwhile in solo, Cyrus managing to get the kill on that RTO. And as things stand, there's about a 3k difference in experience to Battleground of the Gods. That really early pressure really paying off for them, but Gold Fury is started by Dallas Asylum, and can they close some of that gap? Merlin is here to try and steal it. I don't know if they should drop it. Raro does come in, does manage to hit the Merlin and the Gold Fury. They do pick up... No, sorry, Nevea does pick up Ra and managing to escape as Big Rick takes them up to the sky and does kill Dishwater. Gokunator managing to pick up the AMC. Achilles will back off. Bacchus will burp on this Gold Fury. Has Achilles got anything to really contest this? No, and I think he stayed a little bit too long. Bacchus flop does come out. The ult from Bacchus. Big Rick with a slash. And Achilles will fall to that Gold Fury. So what could have been a slight turnaround has now spiraled out into a 5k gold difference and about a 6k experience difference at this stage. Can Dallas Asylum really do anything to pull this game back? Will they have to just play defensive and try and play around their towers? I believe that would be the best option. I don't think they can try and secure their buffs, but at the moment they've not really got that ward coverage out. They've got quite a few aggressive wards, but nothing really defensive when they've been out pressured at the moment. And Tomaku just being contested here, but Bologna could be in a bit of trouble here in the mid lane. She manages to get out there. Naja will go for her speed buff, and Nevea will pick up this mid wave. Currently 2 levels up on the Ra. Jungle 2 levels up as well. Solo laner maybe half a level, 3/4 of a level at the moment, in favour of the Osiris. And of course, Gokinator on that Hatchiman. They're 3 levels up now, and 4 kills up. So, the Hatchiman has a lot more pressure with managing to complete his boots fully and having more stacks on that Devo's gauntlet. As the flop comes in from Bacchus, managing to block the Achilles execute for the escape, and they do pick up the Achilles, and they do pick up the AMC. And with no one on this side of the map, this should be a T1, and Big Rick manages to get the Ra in the mid lane. So yeah, this could be 2 T1 towers 12 minutes into this game. As the one in left falls, and the one in mid should just about fall as well. Looking to invade buffs at the moment, which there's nothing else really up. I don't think they've got the capability of doing pyro when the solar lane is still up and the jungle is still rotating around. Bellona does find herself in between 2. Bacchus will look to flop in here. Does get the knock up on the Bellona, and Bellona will fall to Gokinator. Gokinator currently going 7-0 on this Hatchiman. And Bacchus currently going 8 assists, so a lot of these kills being set up by silent aces on that support. Hatchman trying to wrap around, but I think both characters will get away safely. He'll try and catch up to the wave and get the XP for it. Mi1 solo. He high very low at the moment. Has got teleport up, so should decide to back, but will Osiris manage to invade or think about invading the blue buff? Naja is in that area. Teleport does come out from RTO, but Naja is rotating. Sash managing to hit the Osiris. Osiris taken up into the air. RTO waiting on the ground for him to come down. About just over half health as he has to ult out to try and create some separation. There's no one on his team close by to help him out here. Battleground of the Gods got the damage output as RTO rushes into the tower, and they do manage to pick up the Osiris. Kill falling to Big Rick as Bellona has a big ultimate come out, stunning both of them. I think both of them will just escape, but that ult, I think, would have saved that T1 tower. So if we have a quick look at the top clocks, we see I believe that'll be an Only Fury spawning in about 40 seconds. So both teams should look to get their last bit of farms. If they need to back, now would be the time and set up for that Gold Fury. Looks like Battleground of the Gods have pretty much all the ward coverage around the goal. They'll know if anyone's coming in. Ra is rotating. I think that's just to see if the XP camps were in the mid lane. And Battlegrounds of the Gods get a free Gold Fury there. Pretty much uncontested by that Asylum. They're having no vision around the Gold Fury, not knowing that Battleground of the Gods were doing it. They've got very defensive wards out at the moment. Maybe one aggressive ward, but I would say that's more to note if the Naja's going to gank immediately after taking that blue buff. But there does seem to be a 5-man rotation onto this Osiris in the solar lane. Osiris already having to ult out. Backslot does come out, the ultimate from Bacchus, the Sash coming out from the Naja, and Gokinator managing to pick up another kill. That is 8-0 for the Gokinator. Is this going to be a fire giant call? Yep, Bacchus starting it up. They can see 3 members of the Dallas Asylum pushing that left lane, so This will be absolutely free. They do send Hee-High around just looking to see if the balloon is around. But that is the Fire Giant falling at about 17 minutes, and if we look towards the graphs, it pretty much tells the whole story. XP difference about 11,500 up to this Pyromancer. Gold difference about 11,000. So it's going to be very tough at the moment for Dallas Asylum to sort of come back into this game. If we look towards the itemization side, they've not really got anything that tanky online. Osiris has elected to go into the hide of the urchin, but yet to get a single stack on it. And again, Achilles not even completing breastplate. Has got a bigger health pool and a bit of protection, but breastplate would be the next logical item to go for him. Interesting that AMC is still about 30 stacks away from even completing that Devourer's Gauntlet, and we are approaching, we've just gone past the 18-minute mark. But at this stage, I don't know if there's anywhere you can actually go to farm to get those stacks online. I'd be very surprised if they try and pull out mid T2 defense here, especially with none of their tanks having that Emperor's armor, which would boost the attack speed of that tower. As he high dives in, managing to get a triple stun. Nevea picking up a double kill, and I don't believe Achilles will get out here either. The ultimate is expended trying to get out, but managing to hit. I believe it was the RTO, and Hee-High picks up that kill, and they will push down this middle lane. As Hachiman and Naja managing to get that left-hand lane. So Phoenix down in the left as we were following that middle fight. So looks like doing the safe call, taking the final T2 tower. Apologies for that. Yeah, so taking the T2 tower. Will they push to get a Phoenix or back to spend gold? I would say back to spend gold, as Nevea has about 4,000 in hand. Naja in the jungle with about 3,000. Solar Lane having 3,000. And the duo lane pretty much having 2,300 each. So that's going to be quite a big damage spike with that gold coming out and being spent. Gokunator electing to go into a double life steal with that Assy online. And if we have a quick look at the player damage charts, no surprise with 9-0 Hachiman really topping that damage charts. Interesting to note that Bacchus is third on that damage chart though. Doing better than the whole enemy team apart from the Osiris, who was pretty much boxing RTO in that solo lane, so those damage numbers are slightly skewed in favour towards that Osiris. As Gokunator looks to chase down a level 13 AMC. AMC with no chance once he was out of distance of that hive. And Gokunator picks up a pretty simple kill. I understand why AMC was pushed that high, trying to get some stacks, but as soon as he's seen the Hachiman, he needed to back off with everything he sort of had there. As Nevea managing to pick up the Ra around the speed buff. Could be in a bit of trouble here if they can get stun. The Osiris stun does come out, the ultimate from the Osiris, stopping any healing that may be coming to Nevea. Gokunator managing to pick up Dishwater in that back line, and will look to chase down the Achilles here. I think he will turn his attention now to the Osiris, who's having to try and find a path back to safety, but Bacchus is here, the knock-up does come out. The stun followed by the RTO, and of course Gokunator picking up those basic that currently going 12-2, 13-0. Getting the godlike, picking up the kill, and they will take this middle Phoenix with ease. Wacko again, just out of position. The roll just off the mark. Gokunator absolutely destroying them right now. 15k damage, coming up to 16k, yep. And I believe this is going to be a Titan call. 24-4 this game has gone so far. Dallas Asylum, only the AMC coming up in 7 seconds, but that's a very under-leveled AMC, so I don't think there's much he can do. And the Titan does fall before he even gets a chance to show if he can actually do anything. So that was a very intense game. Battleground of the Gods really pushing home their advantage very early on. And once they got that advantage, they didn't seem to let up. Dallas Asylum did come back, and I think they got to 4 kills apiece at one stage. But just a Gold Fury fight managing to swing it back into Battleground of the Gods' favour, and then from that point, they never looked at giving it up. And if we have a quick look at the damage numbers, we did have a look slightly at the end of the game. Gokunator ending on 17k damage for a 20-minute game. That is very, very impressive compared to his ADC counterpart, who had a very rough game. That is pretty much 4 times the damage. Again, Ra also with very low damage numbers in the 3000 range. He was getting ganked a lot by the Naja, and his reds were being invaded, so it is a bit understandable, but I think they have to learn to sort of play around that, and not sure if Dishwater in the jungle could have helped, or they needed an actual jungler to sort of set up kills, because I don't think the idea of the 3 tanks was a good idea to tank some of that damage, but they couldn't really set up any kills or anything for their main damage of the ADC and mid to do, or they weren't able to protect their A and ADC or mid that well, and they were just getting constantly dived by Big Rick on this Naja or Gokunator following up any setup that he was able to get from that Naja, from that Bacchus, and even occasionally from that RTO who managed to hit a lot of stuns. So I will now move on to game 2. It will be C-Force and Fuzzy going over the picks and bans stage, and then the cast with C-Force, with Fuzzy picking up with the endgame analysis.
Game, just because he had some unfortunate occurrences that happened with his team. He really did step up and try to be that tank front line that said, look at me, I'm Pele, and just running at them in the sense of just making sure that everybody was getting split off and everything like that. The biggest complaint that I have, though, is that just how spread out Dallas were. Dallas was just spread out through all these team fights. They really couldn't pick an objective. So really what I want to see out of them from next game is just make sure that they actually get not necessarily even a basic team comp, but just a team comp that allows them to get into the back line, split them up, and keep it going. With Dallas picking up that Raw, going more of a support Raw build with the Lotus Crown super late in the game, there's no damage coming out from that. And I really think that there was some miscommunication that happened too, especially with the teleport coming from Raw. Raw is one of the fastest characters when you just spam abilities just like that. And you can't, when you're spamming abilities just out of the fountain and you have a teleport, that's not really going to help you out. You're really only getting 2 seconds out of that when it comes to it. Overall, though, I have to give my MVP to Gokunator. He was unstoppable. The fact that he was hitting all of his abilities, the fact that he was going into these fights 2v1 and 3v1 and actually pulling out ahead and at least just surviving long enough for Silent Aces and the Bacchus roll to get out of there, it was just incredible. Great work from Gokunator over there. I do also have to say that my silent MVP has got to be Hihei. My gosh, some of those RDO plays where he's just setting up and everything like that. Yes, he did get soloed by the Osiris in a 2v1, but the sense of the fact is that RDO really just kept them alive and kept everything going along right with Silence. So I really have to give my third star to go to Hihei, my second star to go to Silent, and of course the main man, the MVP himself, Gokunator, get into the finals. So guys, you got everything going on right there. Do you guys have any questions from you guys? Do you have any input?
No, I think you summed it up pretty well. I definitely think the front line of BOTG I think the front line definitely kind of was able to zone the fights out just well enough to where Gokinator wasn't able to take damage, but was able to dish out damage. A lot of really good frontlining in that game, which just let Gokinator just really rip off. Again, I think the solo mage might not have been the play. Again, with the Lotus Crown, he didn't have as much damage as I think he could have. Only 3k damage coming out of the raw. I think having a little bit more magical damage on the map could have definitely helped him in some of those fights.
Oh,
But as a
absolutely, it
whole,
would have helped.
going into game 2, I hope to see a more uh, less risky comp coming out of Dallas. I think they can go with a more conventional team that might work a little bit better. I think they took a risk here, and I just don't think it paid off for them.
I have to agree that there was a definitely high risk, high reward situation that was happening right there, especially with the AMC pick. When you get an AMC pick and they are just going off, I mean, you get an AMC that's 2-0, 3-0, and you just see hives everywhere and they're flying past you with boots that give you the 18% movement speed, plus the hives that give you 30% movement speed on top of that. They're literally faster than a Mercury running at you. So the idea of an AMC just having that much pressure just going in is just ridiculous. But the fact is that, you know, Neja and Big Rick right there just zoned him out. And not only that, but you also had the Bacchus just knocking him up because AMC has no escape other than those hives. And then you had the Hachi man just going in and just saying, hey, I'm right here. Why don't you fight me? And then doing that. So I really think that pressure lane with the Hachi man and Bacchus really set the AMC aside. But you also have to give some credit to Big Rick, making sure that some of those players were out of position to allow the AMC to not get any kills and not farm many efficiently.
And just to give some positives to Dallas, because I do want to point out they did have some very positive things. Dishwasher was able to get some very key kills in the early game, and it looked like they were going to actually go to set up for a Gold Fury. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to actually happen. But Dishwasher definitely MVP for his team. I would say he just got some extremely important kills into the early game, and it didn't work out for him. But there's always Nick.
Absolutely, and Dishwater, he made sure that his team was going to be set up for the best possible outcome. Unfortunately, the team just wasn't around him to do the best possible outcome. Some of those engagements that he had, especially with the Bacchus in that dual lane side at about the 7-minute mark, he was going in there and trying to get those invade buffs to make sure that, they're not getting that experience. Even though it's less experience, they still want to make sure that everything's going great. But with the when they came in and did everything like that with that 2v1 that happened, and then getting a kill on the Bacchus, and then trying to turn around and get the kill on the Hachi man with no real person trying to support them, just kind of ended up being a little bit rough. Oh wow, we are already into
we're a little late. They just let us know they made
there is a password.
Yeah,
no worries.
The picks and bans are up. The password is 123. So I'm just gonna run through the draft pick really quick. We don't see the bans, but that's fine. We got
we don't see the bans, but we do see the picks. Yeah, so we don't see the bans, but we don't see the picks. So I definitely see, it definitely looks like that they're trying something completely different over there in the BOTG side, with Waco looking like going for the carry right now. Well, at least getting with the Shibalanke pick right now. Shibalanke into Hachiman, I really think that Shibalanke will actually end up being a better boxing potential. I haven't seen Jormungandr play in any sort of competitive play recently, but I do know that Jormungandr does give a lot of pressure. So that Jormungandr Hachiman combo lane could happen. However, with a if we do see a Nox support coming out right here, which I really think would be ideal, the displacement
Nox.
and the silences from that is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's 100% Nox support. It's on Waco. He was support last game. Raider on the Anubis this game. I think that's much better for him. I think he's going to get a lot more damage out of that. We do see Gokinator on Hachima again, so that's definitely an interesting one.
Yeah, with Gokinator on the Hachiman again, it'll be really interesting. I really think, though, that the Hachiman will have some issues in the early game with branching bolos happening. The Shibalanke clear is just so ridiculous. I know that Jormungandr is no one to scoff at when it comes to hell, but if you really think about a Nox 2 with the branching bolos, it really looks like that the Shibalanke Nox combo could actually outpressure them, and that's what it needs to happen against the Hachiman. Also, it looks like we're going to go into a Bakasur in the jungle as well, right along with a Mercury jungle. And I really think the Bakasur is going to be able to out damage a Mercury in the early game phases. So go ahead. We're going to definitely get some early jungle buff invades from Big Rick over there against this Mercury.
I definitely agree with that. They did it last game. I think they're going to try it once again. We weren't able to stream it because of our issues, but we definitely saw some invades going out from Big Rick pretty much consistently the entire game. He was able to take the red buff, take the purple buff away from the duo in the mid lane, and it definitely looks like he wants to do that again with the Bakasura. Both teams drafting a much later game comp than last. This time you're seeing a much more conventional draft by Dallas. Still some interesting picks like the Nox support. Definitely has a niche, but I don't think it's a bad pick. I think it could definitely work into the right comps.
And you know what? I definitely think it's actually going to work into this comp because now that I'm looking at it, it looks like Guan Yu is going to be going into that support, not the Jormungandr. Jormungandr is going to go into solo against the Osiris, it seems like. And so that Guan Yu being silenced out of his 3 is just going to be ridiculous. There's not going to be any damage coming out from the Guan Yu at the early stages of the game. So that really is just going to set up the Xbalanque Nox combo, and they're going to look specifically for this pressure. So look for an early jungle gank on the duo side if they don't pick up at least first blood in the first 3 minutes, but definitely getting a couple of kills in the duo lane at 5 minutes.
I would definitely agree with that. I think that's most likely what's going to happen. Interesting picks here. One, allowing Hachima through. I wish we had seen the picks advance phase as they happened. I was a little late on that, so that's my bad. Definitely interesting to see Hachima get through the first round for Gokinator. I would assume maybe an Arthur Merlin ban possible.
Yeah, I definitely would see a Merlin ban because Merlin was just so pressure heavy in the early game. So that Merlin ban first would have been great. And probably what ended up happening was that they had a choice. They could have either gotten the Xbalanque or given up the Xbalanque to Gokinator. And which would you really rather have? Would you have Gokinator have a Hachiman or Gokinator have a Xbalanque? And I really think Gokinator having a Hachiman is going to be more beneficial for Dallas just because of the fact that Hachiman isn't going to be as crazy box potential as a Xbalanque against that would be.
I 100% agree. I think the Xbalanque ult as well is just so important in team fights. I think Dallas really was looking for something to help their team fight out a lot, and I do think that is a great pick to help.
Well, that's going to be it from me over at the pre-game analysis. I look forward to hearing you guys cast in the game. Good luck.
All right, thanks for that analysis. As we sort of load into the game.
So, Waffles, I'm curious to see what you think about these two teams since you haven't had any input to say yet.
I think it's interesting. There's a lot of damage coming out of Dallas Asylum and a lot of sort of stuns that can come out because if Merc ults you and then you're silenced by a Nox, you can't really escape. You've only got beads for one of the things that's coming your way. So it'll be interesting to see where the sort of Mercury focuses his attention, as I assume it will be Anubis solo.
No, I believe that's
Oh, sorry, Anubis.
It's Anubis mid, right?
Mid, sorry, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I was just making sure. I was getting confused.
No problem.
So yeah, like Fuzzy said in the pregame, though, I could definitely see some early game invades coming out with Rick with the Bakasura. That'll be interesting to look at. I honestly much prefer this comp coming out from Dallas. I think this is a much better draft. I think they could form much better with this. You have Dishwasher on a god he can really carry with, and I think he definitely showed some good performance last game, so that's exciting. And having Raider on a mage that can just really dish out some damage can definitely be interesting this game.
Yeah, 100%. But I think it's going to be where that Merc goes, and I think the Mercury did go into Blink, so do you think he'll get his speed buff and just sort of gank that mid lane early, or do you think he'll just go a more traditional jungle route?
I'm not really sure. I don't think I've really watched Dishwasher well enough to start predicting any of his potential plays. He definitely could go for an early gank, but I think he'll probably just go traditional. I don't really see a reason to expect anything too crazy. This is just game 2. Then again, they are down 1-0, so or 0-1. They might want to make some plays, try and get a win. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how this sort of duo lane works out with the Guan Yu healing.
Nox opting for her dash over her silence is definitely interesting going into the Guan support. I'm not sure. She might have maybe thought Jormungandr was coming to lane. Not really sure. I think I would have opted for the silence there. But just rotating over a little bit to the mid lane now. We're seeing Raider giving up some pressure to the Scylla. Maybe waiting for maybe trying to bait a gank potentially. Seeing a pretty easy purple buff invade in the duo lane. The Nox and the Expel not able to outpressure this Guan Hachi at all.
Yeah, really surprised by that dash choice, because you don't really have any... If you go for your 1, even if you can't clear the wave, you can really put a lot of damage out on this duo lane early, or 2 would help with the wave clear.
Guan's looking really aggressive right now, but he's looking really low. He pops the horrific emblem. There's the shell. The stun out from Gonkinator. Not able to get the kill. Unfortunate. But hey, we got some relics there. We got some nice action. Looks like Mercury's going for a safe route. He did not attempt the red buff invade, even though he is out clearing Bakasura quite a bit, actually. Merc looks to be rotating and out clearing at a decent speed right now. Both junglers looking at the duo lane right now. This could be an interesting fight happening right now.
Yeah, I think just Big Rick's gonna get the purple buff, and I think maybe
Yeah,
possible
looks that
ganking
way.
mid? No.
Yeah, both junglers decided against it. Bakasura is going to help split purple. Oh, looks like Dishwasher looking for a big blink, unable to connect with the dash. That's unfortunate, but hey, they're able to push Shilla back a little bit. Maybe look for an Harpies on the right side of the map.
Yep, Harpy's up, speed's about to come up, but I think they'll pretty much be secured by both their junglers, as there is a bit of a fight happening in duo lane still, but...
Yeah, Guan just really pushing his aggression. He's really trying to make a big impact in this early game. While he has that huge protection shred as 3, he has that purple buff. He's really trying to get the most out of it. Looks like they might be going for another fight here. Yeah, again, this time Nox is able to silence out the Guan, and he is
Yep.
stuck in a weird position. He's going to have to back up now. Without his 3 spending, he is significantly less of a threat.
Yeah, and that's why I was a bit surprised not to see that silence come out for level 1.
Ooh, big plays over there in the duo lane as well. Nox able to slip out just barely and keep her alive.
But needs to be
This
very
is
careful,
definitely-
because she's very low on mana right now with no mana pots, so...
That's a very good thing to mention. I had not noticed the potions, but yeah. This is a very aggressive duo coming out from BOTG. They're really feeling high off that last game. They're looking for another purple buff invade, but this time
There's a Mercury
Dishwasher is there to make a counter gank. Let's see if he can do anything here. They got the root on the Guan. Guan is gonna drop to Waco. Big kill. That's first blood to Dallas.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter who the first blood on your team goes to. Just as long as you're picking it up is always good. It would
I
have been
think the
nice.
first blood gold on anyone is beneficial. I kind of like it on the support, honestly. Giving the support a couple items can really help in the early game. Obviously, your ADC wants the gold, but I don't think it's bad that it wants support.
If this was past Shibbolonka, he would have been absolutely screaming at his support, but now his passive's changed. That's not so much the case.
I think I'm not gonna lie. I think BOTG's feeling a bit too high. They made a bit of an aggressive play. I don't think was really necessary, and they suffered for it. So we'll see if they continue to make these plays, or maybe if they slow down their play style just a little bit here to accommodate for what just happened.
But they've lost first blood, but Hachi has hit 5 first. I think the XP is in the favour of Battlegrounds of the Gods still, though.
It is indeed in favor. Not much, only 500, only 200 gold. Ooh, there looks to be something going on in the mid lane right now. Anubis gonna drop ult. Scylla also dropping ult. Mercury with a big ult on the Bakasura. Can they pick the Baka? And Raiders with a pick onto Big Rick. That was a really well played fight. Mercury got a great ult off on Baka. Really a short Merc ult. And over in duo lane, didn't even notice. Pentecost goes down to Go. Juan's looking really low, but no, Waco goes down. Double kill for Gokinator. Too many fights going on to follow right now.
Yeah, that was a good ganking mid lane, and then just unfortunate that their duo, and speaking of fighting happening all over the place, he high picks up in
Solo
the solo
just got
lane.
a solo kill on the Big Snake. Big Snake has a frag onto the Osiris. I was not expecting that. I wish I was paying a little more attention, because that would have been an awesome fight to see.
And I wasn't expecting it, but he's now 2 levels up on the Osiris, so...
He has a significant advantage. I noticed that. And all of a sudden, the golden XP difference just drastically changed. It went from a fairly close game to suddenly 2k in the XP, 1k in the gold difference. Not the end of the world for sure, but definitely noticeable.
And Battleground of the Gods triple split in that red buff. Are they possibly looking towards a Gold Fury here, or even the gank in the duo lane?
Looks like they might just be going for a purple buff here. coming out of Dallas. Bakasura is being a little sneaky there. Looks like he's going to get Merc out on his own. Not sure if he's going to want to take the fight. Doesn't look like he wants to. He is not looking to fight this Merc at all, but Merc's too fast. He got the one, he got the dash. Bakasura's able to jump out. Is Anubis able to hit the wrap? No, he's not. Unfortunate.
Good return damage from the Scylla there, though. Just
Very good. She was able to hit 2 people with that crash. That was very good.
can see what's happening in the solo lane.
Yeah, Jorm seems to be proxying Osiris. He's going to Phoenix.
He's proxying at Phoenix. That explains so much.
I think the only reason he's able to do this right now is because he has that ultimate to get out if he needs, and I think that might just be his play here. Mercury is there. I think this might be a dead Jorm here if he doesn't ult. He's holding ult for some reason. I don't know if this is the play. Oh, there's the ult coming out. Will he get it off? He was able to get it off. And then the mid lane, Raider gets another kill. Yeah, Raider's doing much better on this Anubis. I definitely liked this pick. Looks like he might be able to pick Baka here as well. And Raider's with a double kill.
Killing spree.
That is the beneficial of going Bancross instead of going into any boots. That lifesteal on Anubis is insane.
And in the dual lane, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but Pentecost is able to get out with just a sliver of health. So is Waco. I wish we had seen that fight, but again, there's just so many fights. These teams are just playing at 100 miles an hour, no stopping on either side.
So it looks like Hachiman ult down, so that's probably why they were low. I'm surprised if they were that low and Guan ult is still up. I'm surprised Guan didn't die for that kill.
That is definitely interesting, but then again, Guan has not gone into protections yet. He went into the warrior tabby trying to maintain that pressure, so he's not quite tanky enough to go for anything too aggressive.
Not too aggressive, but Shibbolonko wasn't exactly in his tower. He's in between that T1 and T2, so you might have been able to just charge and get the kill, and then go out into the jungle. But safe routes.
Looking over to solo lane, Osiris is getting poked out again. I think he was unable. Yeah, Osiris unable to confirm the totem. Got it stolen from him by Jormungandr. And looks like they're going for some invades over in the duo lane. Yep, this is exactly what Fuzzy was saying in the pre-game. Big Rick going in there, getting those invades. Mercury's in a very weird spot right now. There's the slow coming up from Guan. I don't know if they're going to be able to lock down the Mercury, though. He's too fast. And no kills.
Especially when Bakasura seems to be going for the double blade build rather than going into boots for that early movement speed. So he's not going to have any chase potential on that Mercury.
Yeah, he also I don't think he has a speed buff on him either right now. He must have died. I'm not sure. Confused. Merc looks like there's a really good play on Scylla here, still able to get out. I think there might have been a miscommunication there. Merc had a pretty decent gank there, but Raiders was on the side camps. A little bit of a miscommunication, but Scylla was able to make the play and get out regardless.
Take it, Jorm's
Jorm again going for the proxy on Osiris.
Take it. I won't go to Phoenix this time.
Looks to be a play going on here. Dallas is sending their entire team mid right now. Oh, but the Guan was able to back. They're kind of backing off now. They're actually starting up the Gold Fury. We saw this last game. They really like these early Gold Fury attempts. I don't know if they're going to be able to get this off,
Hachi is there, so can they get the pick on the Hachi instead? No, beads come out.
Oh, they got the Nox ult with a miss, but they got Hachi's beads out of that. They're still waiting around this Gold Fury. Looks like they want to force this fight. Merc getting that ult ready, just in case. See, here's going to be a big difference maker here. See, Osiris is here to this fight, and Jorm's going to be taking that T1. So I think Dallas needs to make a play here, or else they're just going to lose a tower for nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say the graphs are a bit deceiving. They're up on kills, but they're actually behind on gold and XP, even before that T1 in the solo lane just fell. So
yeah, that is correct. Big Rick, again, just looking for invades. He seems to be just farming to the late game. He's not worried about all these fights. He just wants this XP. Mercury is able to secure his red buff. So red buff going to the side of Dallas.
How do you feel about this Anubis build not going into boots?
That's very interesting, but at the same time, I think he can get away with it. I think Big Rick is not looking for ganks. He is looking for farm primarily, and I think he's actually able to get away with this no boots build. He's been getting off a lot of kills right now. He's not getting ganked. Hey man, if you can get that extra power spike from the Typhons, why not, right?
Yeah. 100%. I'm not sure what level Anubis needs to be, but with that double lifesteal, he can solo objectives pretty easily.
Oh, very. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if Rick notices what's happening and starts to maybe try and gank the Anubis a little bit more, too. We'll just have to see how that plays out. They're really looking for this duo lane gank. I feel like this entire game has just hovered around these duo lanes on both teams. As we actually see a big fight going on in the solo lane right now. Mercury and Osiris are going to try and lock down this Jormungandr. Jormungandr's ult is still up, and he's going to have to use it to get out here.
There are a lot of wards coming out.
And definitely a lot of wards from both teams, so really good for on both teams' parts. Oh, another big fight going on in solo. Looking at this blue buff invade. Osiris is on the Jormungandr, but the Bakasura ult on Mercury. This is going to be really close between Baka and Mercury. Merc with a big ult. He's able to get out, and Raiders coming in, cleaning up the kill. Raiders with no boost is still able to rotate to these fights when he needs to.
Slowly but surely he'll get there, and he will put out the damage once he's there.
He knows he did not. He was unable to put the damage numbers out on the Raw last game, and he is coming back with a vengeance. 4-0 to start this game. He is looking so strong right now. Level 12. I've got a drink of water.
I was gonna say, interesting. I understand Baka does usually go for the double blade build, but with Mercury build and Talari boost, Mercury's still going to be quicker and out farming him.
100%. Oh, big Guan ult was not able to connect here. Nox with the root and also with the Mercury stun. X-Ball going in with the dash. They're really trying to lock down this Guan. They're having a little bit of trouble. He is just running for his life, but Dishwasher's able to pick up the kill.
Could go maybe in trouble.
Sorry. Oh, Hachi might be in trouble as well. You're correct here. Let's see. The Merc dashes up, but he got the beads. I don't think they'll be able to continue this fight. I think you should just be able to safely back here. Or even get the wave. They're going to let it get wave.
They should be looking for Gold Fury here if Anubis is rotating slowly towards it.
I 100% agree with that. I think Gold Fury could definitely be a play they're going to go for here. Looks like they're just actually going to secure their own camps. That might be the first purple buff they've gotten in 7 or 8 minutes. Big Rick has been keeping those camps on lockdown, so that's actually big for them. They need that camp XP.
I'm not entirely sure how they're going to lock down this Anubis. Currently going 4-0.
Yeah, they definitely. I could see potentially Scylla building straight into Divine Ruin right now. I can also see maybe. Well, I think that probably would be their best option, to be honest. I think
Scylla going into the Divine. Yeah.
Going into the Divine. If they don't, I think this is just going to become a bigger and bigger threat as that Anubis gets boots online. It's going to have more mobility. Jormungandr looks like is going over to the Gold Fury. This could be a Gold Fury setup for Battleground of the Gods. See what happens here. Mercury's all the way in right. Osiris is in right. They don't seem to know what's going on. Starting up the Gold Fury.
And I think this is the right play, knowing Anubis can pretty much solo the Gold Fury on his own at this stage. Trying to take that objective off the map, and they manage it.
Again, I think we're seeing Dallas struggle with their wards. They're having a lot of wards, but they don't seem to be placed in just the right areas. Oh, a big fight going on. Jormungandr ult, Bakasura ult, Nox ult, all coming out. I think that's the Expo ult as well. Hachi ult is going to get the execute for the kill. And looks like they should just be able to siege this T1. I think they just keep pushing here personally. I think they can, I don't think they need to stop. That Nox is not going to be able to solo defend.
Especially with Jorm here, yeah. I think they could probably even get a T2 off this.
I definitely think they could definitely push T2. Looks like they're not too
worried
excited about that. I think they're just going to take the Gold Fury, the T1, and the 3 kills they got, and I don't think that's a bad idea.
Fair enough. They have got a lot of wards up and around, but I guess
Mercury is able to stop the Bakasura invade. I think he just stole red buff with his dash. That's impressive. Mercury, I believe, stole the red buff from Bakasura with his dash to prevent the eat minion. That was interesting.
They do respond with a T1 in solo though, so.
Oh, I did not even notice that. Thank you for letting me know. That a very good play on Osiris, being conscious. Hey, I can't help out that fight in the duo lane, but I could at least trade out some gold by getting this solo lane tower. Very good play on the part of Bayard.
Yeah. Eventually Anubis will get boots online.
Looks like he'll gonna get that with his back. Scylla, interesting, going into the Spear of Desolation. I'm a big fan of Spear of Scylla, but I don't know if that was the call in this particular game, with the Anubis having the double lifesteal already online.
Again, a bit awkward for Dallas Asylum. They've got a 2-on-1 against Hachiman, but they can't actually pin him down. He's got the level advantage of about 3 levels on both the ADC and the support, but
Nox able to get a root down, but again, I think there might have been a miscommunication. Pentecost was
100%.
not there to make any kind of play off of it. Definitely seemed to be some miscommunication
Pentecost
there.
took the safe route around the back, and Nox went straight for the Hachi.
Yeah, 100%. Much more aggressive route. I think Nox would have made. I think Nox made the right call there. I believe beads. Actually, I think beads are up, right? Yeah, beads are actually up on Hachi, so I think it would have been safe there. Regardless. Oh, Jorm going for some big dives, but Anubis is able to stop him. Anubis gonna drop ult. Jorm's gonna ult. Scylla's gonna ult onto the Anubis. Big damage. It's the Anubis Aegis Bakasura ult executing everyone on their team. Bayard able to trade out Big Rick, trying to just salvage this team fight. Oh my god, that was crazy. Jorm ulted Spectator looks amazing.
Pyro's down. Is this the fire coil?
I would go for fire here personally. I'm sorry, I'm fangirling over Jorm ult real quick. That looked amazing. That was so cool. Really big plays there. I think I saw a big Mercury ult come out through the ult, Jorm ult. Everyone just dropped their ults, and it was a really big fight. Big damage onto the Anubis coming out from the Scylla. That was an amazing play. Noticing that the Anubis was in ult. Hey, I can't move. I'm gonna crush ult him and just absolutely obliterated him.
Yep, 100%. So I was gonna say, how do you deal with this Anubis? Well, if you don't see the Jorm coming from solo because he's underground, you can't really stop him.
Yeah, that fight right there honestly explains this entire set so far. Just 100 miles an hour. Nobody's putting the brakes on. They are just going, fight, fight, fight. I love these classic games. They are just so exciting.
Yeah, I do like the fights, but at some point, I think Dallas Asylum need to back off and actually farm to try catch up this level gap a little bit.
Yeah, they had kind of stabilized out the XP and gold loss up until that last fight. They were kind of sitting around 3k gold and XP difference. It was pretty stagnant and hadn't really changed in a little while. But that fight really has just pushed BOTG straight to the top. They're looking to round out this set here. They might look to push some T2s while they have this Fire Giant active as well.
I was gonna say we've Gold Fury spawning in about a minute, so that should be the next. I think it's going to be an Oni wave, so I think Dallas Asylum just need to push out these waves as much as possible right now.
Yeah, I agree. They might go for the Oni Fury to get the Oni waves and do exactly what you just said. Interesting, though, to still see no lifesteal coming out from BOTG. Very interesting. Jormungandr's in a really awkward position right now. Oh, but Anubis takes a much more passive approach. I think he was a little scared there. Not sure if that was the correct play.
You meant like anti-healing, not lifesteal, but
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm an anti-heal.
just
I feel like they definitely could have pressured Jormungandr. I think he put himself in a really awkward position there. Unable to make the play, but a big Nox grab inside the Anubis ult. And Jormungandr is going to go down. There is just a million things going on.
that was a big three-man Scylla.
Still a huge ult there. Bakasura is going to be able to clean up the rest of the fight. Big Rick with another triple kill. I saw a massive Scylla ult. Like 3 people, I think. That was insane. These team fights are so intense.
Jorm was totally out of position there, but they all pretty much dived on Jorm. Jorm's quite a big tank, and they grouped up so much that Scylla could hit Iron Monster on 3 people, not necessarily getting the kills, but I think they were all pretty much about 100% health, and they all dropped to about 25% immediately.
Yeah, that was 100%. I will gladly trade my Jormungandr for your entire team, and that's what they did there. Jorm said, "Here, take me, I am a sacrifice," and he got all those assists, lots of kills. I saw a big Guan ult, big Scylla ult. I'm sure there were other things, but there's just so much going on, it's just too quick to call. They're going to get these Oni Fury, which honestly is just going to kind of exacerbate their lead at this point. Putting those fire minions and the Oni minions, it's just going to make it really difficult for
I think at this
Dallas here to
point
really
you
do
back
anything.
and siege the right lane, because if they're going to fight you on the right lane, then you're going to get the left Phoenix with that Oni wave.
I agree. I think pushing the right tower would be the play right now because, again, like you said, you'd get that Oni wave into the Phoenix. It doesn't look like that's what they're going to do. It looks like they're just going to slow down the game a little bit, finish up some of their items they have. I think they can get away with this. They don't mind taking this game a little bit longer. I think they're gonna play it safe, not take too many risks.
Which is
Only
fair
seeing
enough.
one tower down on the side of BOTG.
Fire giant time is about 1.5 minutes, so. And I believe it being 1.5 minutes means fire giant's about to fall off these characters right now.
Osiris having an ult out. He kind of got caught out there. I like how they have the team a little bit pushed up. Split up. Having a X-Ball clear out those Oni waves was pretty smart, and maybe they can kind of fake a defense for this T2. No, it looks like they're just going to completely give up the T2. I think that's the correct play. I don't really think they can defend this. Bakasura soloing the Pyromancer.
Nope, I
Taking
think
a lot of damage.
Powergrounds will just drop back to wait for that Oni wave, and
Oh, but Jorm's just diving in straight. He doesn't even care about a tower. He's going straight for that Anubis on the back line. Anubis getting absolutely blown up. Gokinator with, I believe, his ultimate? Yeah, he ulted to get that kill. Really good play. Jorm is still in the back line. He has taken absolutely no damage from this Phoenix. Bakasura going to ult onto the Nox. She pops thorns, but I don't think she has enough HP for it to really scare him off.
can they end here, or do they just play safe and back for the fire, which is about to spawn?
I think they could end here. They still have the Guan and still ults, but again, I think the safe Phoenix into fire play seems what they're going for. Oh, big ult coming out on the Merc. Can he get the kill on the Hachima? He's unable to with the beads. X-Ball ult's coming out now. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. This Phoenix looks like it's done.
No, but it was a great idea. Get that ADC out of the game, and maybe you can hold a little bit longer.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Dishwasher made the correct play. Just unfortunate that Hachi still had beads up. They're having to keep minions off their Titan right now, which almost died. I just noticed the minions. Big Scylla ult coming out. What a miss. Gokinator gets another kill. Gok's all on his own right now. Totally abandoned by his team. The Anubis ult into the root. That's a kill. Raiders is back in the game. I don't know how much it'll matter, but he's doing his damnedest, man. He's trying.
Yeah, I was going to say, at this stage, they've picked up the kill on Gokinator. They can't really... Well, they probably could 4v5 this, with fire minions pretty much pouring down every lane right now.
Yeah, I don't know if the pick really is going to make a big difference, but I'm sure it felt good to just get that one revenge kill. Now they're going to try and find whatever farm they can. Doesn't look like there's going to be too much outside of these fire minions pushing up. And they're just all split up trying to get these fire waves under control.
Yeah.
Once 3 Phoenixes are down, it is incredibly hard to defend.
I was going to say, Anubis ult wasn't quite up, but if Anubis ult was up, I wouldn't be surprised just to see them see if they could burn fire while they were back in. With an Anubis and Mercury, but...
Still, I find it interesting that they just opted to not build anti-heal. I mean, it's working out for them, but when I see the double lifesteal Anubis, I just always think anti-heal. Again, it's worked out for him so far, so we'll see if the game continues to go in the favor of BOTG.
But I guess Anubis being very immobile, if you have a Jorm who's going to constantly dive that back line. Maybe you don't need the anti-healing. It is a bit weird not picking it up.
You definitely have a point there, because you also have the Scylla and the Hachima snipes as well, right? So
yeah.
If the Anubis goes into ult, that's an instant solo ult. No way she's going to miss that.
Or
Hachima can drop his ult
even
as
if
well.
he goes into his one to try and get a bit more damage out on someone.
And you're 100% right on that. That is a fire giant on the side of BOTG. They're looking to end the game here, I think. They're kind of splitting up a little bit. Jorm's going to the right, push up that fire wave. Everybody else seems to be going to the mid Phoenix. Jorm seems to be distracting Osiris. Mercury, not so much. Oh, Anubis getting caught out in the mid lane. That's unfortunate. Raiders is going to go down. Mercury with an ult into a Nox combo.
Not quite a
And
Nox combo, but...
Oh, big Nox Bakasura ult and the Guan ult. Looks like Nox might be going down here. I think if Nox goes down here, this might be game.
It's game anyway, I think.
Yeah, that's game anyway. Titan's just too low. Big Rick bringing up a double at the end. Really good set. Really high, fast-paced games. They never slowed down. I'm really interested to see what Fuzzy has to say about this in the post-game.
Wow, 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 wow. A lot better from the side of Dallas for sure coming out right there. But unfortunately, they just couldn't pick up the win. And Battleground of the Gods, man, they are able to do it. Man, I have to do it right now because I see him in the chat. Big Dick Rick coming out with 2 triple kills in that game is just ridiculous. The Big Dick Rick, man, was remarkable. I mean, there was one at 17 minutes. You know, you got the one at 19 minutes as well with the cleanup. I do have to say that the good old mid lane, my gosh, the mid laner Cecilia hit. I don't know if the caster saw it, but during that whole big fight in the 19 minutes in, when Jormungandr was just sacrificing his life for himself, for his team, that Scylla hit 3 people 3 times with their ultimate.
I did see that. Yeah, yes.
Like, with that was just an incredible ult. I do have to say, just out of the side of Dallas, a lot better engages, a lot better on that. There's still some stuff that they've got to work out with the kinks and everything like that, but overall, just a better fight and a better way for everybody to come around Raiders and just really pick up the Anubis play that he was doing with it. Just remarkable stuff that he was going up against. You know, soloing Big Dick Rick a couple of times definitely helps with that. But at the same time, you really have to just give props to Raiders for this fight, keeping his team in the game, and you know, shutting down Gokinator, shutting down Big Dick Rick.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that. Raider just absolutely destroyed in the early game. He had a very early 4-0 lead with no boots Anubis, and you know, you got to give him credit for that. He saw what he did the first game. He understood his lack of damage, totally overhauled his playstyle, changed gods, changed builds, and he was really a threat in the early game. Unfortunately, wasn't able to pull out the win, but a very good showing from Dallas in game 2. I thought that was much better from them.
And I do really have to say, what made it even more incredible was the fact that Waco was playing really out of his mind. Well, now, what made me a little disappointed in the pick was that he decided to get his dash level 1 first. You know, that could have been a misclick. There could have been a lot of things that happened. You know, if you got your 2 with the silence on Nox right at the beginning, I think that could have been a little bit different in the duo lane. But man, Waco was playing incredibly well in that early fight. And the fact that Pentecost was able to follow up with him a couple of times really just step up their game. Really unfortunate that Dallas didn't pull off a win so that we couldn't get another game. But you know, that's how Smite goes sometimes. You know, it's a pick your own battles type thing. I do have to say, my play of the game was Jormungandr proxying Phoenix, just for shits and giggles. Like, I just see a big snake just walking through tier 1, walking through tier 2, and just there just to say hi wife, you know, how's it going?
You know, you actually think about it, it's actually not a bad strategic play. He had the ultimate, he had a pretty safe way of escaping. By proxying that Phoenix, he's able to get back to lane without using his teleport. So it's actually there is a strategical advantage to proxying in such an extreme way with a god that can actually do it and do it effectively without dying. So that's actually a pretty big play.
It is, but he was
100%.
very close on it. Like, I think
It was very close. He held that ultimate till the last
like,
second.
He can ult out. He can still ult out. Like, I think he got down to maybe 75 health, and he's like, okay, now I'm ulting out.
You know, I think what happened there was that he didn't have enough mana to get the ult off. It seemed like that he used most of his mana for his pool, and then he 3'd the pool to be able to get the 2 pools that came out while Jormungandr was in the pool, and then he 2'd the wave, and then he was just in this situation of, I don't have enough mana. I'm down by 15-20 mana at this point, and I have to sit here and hope that my mana regens and they miss their skill shots. And luckily, the snake was able to slither out and get out of there.
Yeah. These 2 teams have impressed me a lot today. I think I really these games showed why I said before we started streaming that I really liked watching classic games. They bring out different gods, new gods, Noxes, Anubises, Zillas. You don't see them as much in the Premier League. This high-paced, high-octane gameplay will only be found in the Classic League. It is just so exciting to watch.
Classic League just has that kind of vibe of the minor league in Smite, where nothing is held against them. There is no meta. There is no rules. There are no restrictions. They will just do what they need to do to win. It is that grittiness and that gruff that a lot of the players in the higher tier levels just don't do. You pick something that's off meta and ends up going, we lost because it was an off-meta pick. With this specific team and with these sort of players, you're looking really, really well at just those really just fun fights to watch, and that you can never be surprised at which way it goes because you never see these gods played. I mean, when was the last time that anybody really saw Asylum get 1, 10 assists, and 2, 3-man ultimates at 19 minutes in the game and killed only 2 people? I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
You definitely can't. Well, I think that's all we have for tonight. Does anybody have any closing remarks or any final comments they want to make about the games?
No, I think you both pretty much summed it up perfectly. So, I've got nothing really to add on top of that.
Okay, well, I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Great games to both teams. Both teams did extremely well. Game 2 was extremely exciting to watch for sure. Hope we can cast more in the future. Make sure to follow or check out Waffles' Twitch. Even though we had some technical difficulties, we were able to figure it all out.
It was fine
yeah.
for game 2, but yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Okay, well, again, we'll let you guys know.
High-res buff spectator mode.
please, Tyra. But yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on when we're casting again and when the next games will be. So just follow us on the Twitch. I think, can they get it's in the Exilium Discord, right, or no?
Yeah, so when the games go live, they'll be posted in the Exilium Discord, and then for teams, it'll be posted in the Premier League or Classic League, depending on when the game is.
Well, there you go. Go to the Exilium Discord. You can find all the Twitch streams and everything else live as it happens. So I think that's all for tonight, guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Right, thanks, everyone.